Yeah.
All right, so moving now to a couple of new releases, I should say. So we will talk about, or I should say, I will talk about Encanto, and
Right.
we will talk about House of Gucci, right? So
Sure.
I'll kick things off with Encanto, right? This is the newest, animated feature from Walt Disney, right? Not Pixar in this case, so it's Walt Disney, right? It's actually from the same people who did Zootopia, I believe it
Right.
was, and Moana, right?
Right. Right.
Both
So
of
it's those same
which,
guys, right? Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, both of which I thoroughly
Yeah.
enjoyed,
I
right?
love
And
both of those films. Yeah.
I would say, this film in particular reminds me a lot of Moana, right? Case
Okay. Right. Right.
well, reason being, one is
Brown people.
because of the brown people, yes,
Yeah.
and secondly, music. We
Right.
haven't seen animated musical film from Walt Disney in a while, so
Right. Right.
yeah, so then all right, so I wanted to go in as blind as possible, though. Like, I was hearing about this thing. I heard McGill, Stephanie Beatrix. I'll talk about
Right.
her later on. Is this is her. She's front and center in this, right? But like, I just saw a trailer. I was like, this look fine, but I still wanted to go in as blind as possible, right?
Right.
But I should mention before I get to the review itself, before I get to the synopsis, is that we also got a short film at the beginning, right? I forgot the title of it though, but it's very, very, very well made though. It has a sort of a 2D look to it though, even though it is 3D. It
Right.
involves animals, and it just tells this really nice story about parenthood and just imparting your wisdom to your children, right? But then also, imparting your fears as well, right? Your concerns, right? So it's how it's how it visualizes that at all is great as well. I mean, I ain't no parent, but I can watch. I be like, yeah, I imagine I'll move that same way, sort of this overprotective way, around my kid now, if my kid was that young, right? But yeah, this
Right.
it was a nice film. It's a nice film, right? It's not like Pixar level great as far as as far as their shorts go, but this was solid, man. I have no problems with that, right? But yeah, this show here, Encanto, is set in Colombia, right? Um, it's kind of interesting because they don't really say exactly when it's set though, but it kind of establishes that it is modern, right? Even though it's in this village, right? So it kind of looks like it's away from modernity though, or like technology, all that kind of stuff, right? But that's another one to make mention of, right? So we learn that there's the family of the Madrigals, right? If I got the surname wrong, forgive me, right? And we learn that they actually live in this I would say this estate, if you will, which they call the Encanto. I think that's the name of the estate that they call it, right?
Right.
This nice house, right? But then we learn that the house is magical. It has magical powers, right? And then, well, pretty much the family that resides in it, the Madrigals themselves, have magic powers, and we learn at the very beginning how they got that, right? It involves this mystical candle that the grandmother, well, at the time was young. Her husband unfortunately died. I'm not going to say
Right.
how, but it makes for um a very crucial moment in the film. I would say a very heartbreaking moment in the film, right? But yeah, so she had three children, and basically they grew up, and it's just basically their children, and their relatives, and cousins and stuff like that. They live in that area, right? But yeah, basically the majority of them have powers, right? So, but how it works in this film is that the house itself provides, basically shows you this door, right? This magic door, right? And it's because we working with traditions, all that kind of stuff. It's when you're at a certain age, right? So I believe it's when you reach like when you're like, say, 11 or 12 or whatever it is, right? When you're not really a teenager as yet, right? But you're aware of the world around you, right? So yeah, at that moment there's the ceremony, and you open that door, and then when you come out, you have these gifts, right? You have these powers, right?
Right.
So cut to Mirabelle, right, who's played by Stephanie Beatrix, right? And she has no powers at all.
Right. Okay.
And I love how they show this kind of plays on that, like, yeah, I mean, everybody, like, all,
So
my sister has this, my sister has this, my mom
what?
has this. I was like,
There.
I don't have that.
It have a show called Up Up and Away. that had the same story.
Oh, I remember that's from Disney, right? I remember not
Yeah,
watching it because at the time I was like, yeah, fuck Disney movies. But I
yeah. It was
remember,
a,
yeah,
a shitty TV Disney movie. I think it's up upon the way. There's
yeah.
So is
I
that
think
that
because
same
it felt
conceit?
like a rip-off of Sky High, even though it's not the same story.
Yeah,
But at the time it felt like it was a rip-off of Sky High. I now remember that's why I didn't
right.
watch it. Right.
But I can't remember when Sky High came out. I think this came out before Sky High. But whatever.
Yeah, whatever, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's like that, right? And I mean, she's all cool with it, right? She's a very nice, very likable character. I would say, yeah, one of the very very likable protagonist, right? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she's the first Disney princess, quote unquote, to wear glasses. I'm like, what? Okay,
Right, right, right.
that's nice, that's nice, yeah.
Okay.
And as I said before, I mean, it is a musical, so characters are singing. She basically sings about the family, and it's a nice song, right? And by the way, in case you're wondering, yes, Stephanie is singing.
Okay.
I was like, what? What? Okay, she's
Yeah.
singing. Like, what? Like, dude, like,
Listen,
what?
if they can make rock sing, they can make anybody sing, Joe.
Yeah, I can remember the rock song
Moana,
in
yeah.
which one of my favorite songs of a Moana,
Yeah,
The
that was hot.
Welcome. I
Yeah,
love that song, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk about the song qualities in a bit, right? So yeah, she seems to be fine with it and all that kind of stuff, right? There's a subplot involving her sister, Isabella, who is played by my next skill, Dan Guerrero. You remember her from Orange is the New Black and Doom Patrol, right? She's in it too. Like, oh, and she's actually of Colombian heritage, right? So look at that, right?
Right.
Yeah, she is, about to marry this rich, suave, handsome dude, and you kind of learn a little bit stuff. You kind of learn about how she's feeling about it, right? Her power is actually like when I see what it is, it kind of sounds like was the point, but when you see it visually, it's amazing. Though she could actually make flowers, though, so
Right, right, right.
she could actually like flowers could just kind of like just form out of her just thinking about it, right? Just her using her powers. And there's actually a great musical number where she shows where she kind of discovers just how far she can take that power. It's like really, really dope though. She also has another sister. Well, it's actually older sister, right? Because she's like actually the youngest, right? This oldest sister is Louisa, right? She's actually one of my favorite characters in this too because apparently, just reading off of Wikipedia, she has the biggest biceps in Disney history. So yes, she's the tough chick in the group, right? And yes, she has super strength, and she can lift carts with donkeys and all that kind of stuff. And
Right, right, right.
she has her own musical number as well too, right? So yeah, I mean, I actually dug her. And I actually love how, there's like a little moment where they kind of downplay her powers, and then she feels all insecure, like, oh no, I don't belong and I don't matter anymore. Right. It was really hilarious, right? But yeah, point is, before we get to the review itself, something happens to the house. Basically, Mirabelle sees this vision of the house being destroyed. So there's all these cracks and whatnot, but nobody else sees it. But it's in relation to a seemingly long lost uncle who is voiced by John Leguizamo. I didn't even know he
Right,
was in this as well.
right.
And it's just really about, well, Mirabelle kind of learning about her place in this family and why she belongs. Because yeah, I mean, at a point she's like, why am I even here? Like, I don't have any powers. I can't do stuff like what you do, right? It's like superpowers. It's just like case in point, her mother have the ability to make food, and if anybody eats it, they get well, right? So this is like this running gag involving her husband, who constantly gets stung by bees, and he swells up, right? His fingers, his hands and face swells up, right? But every time he eats his wife's bread, he goes back to normal, right? So it's like that,
Right,
right? And I'll stop here. So get to the obvious out of the way. This is a gorgeous looking show, but
right.
I was just in awe of just the visuals. This looks spectacular, but and I don't know if it's like, I don't know, like maybe it was just the screen that I was at, because I saw this in Cribbin Cinemas 8, right? The one place that nobody in Trinidad wants to go, right? Because it's cheap, right? Whatever. But I thought like visually was stunning though. Like it
Yeah,
looked close to like 4K at some points, but like it was just that photogenic to it. It was just so gloriously lovely. Like this is a beautiful looking film, right? Also, I mean, I just really dug how vibrant it all is, how colorful it is, right? You really felt the energy and the joy in this environment. The characters are just so likable and lovable throughout, though. And this is actually one of the few Disney animated films I've seen where there isn't really a villain, though. Like there's a threat,
Right.
there's the doom of the house being destroyed and all that kind of stuff, right? But there's no real villain per se, right? There
Right. Right.
is
Right.
the hints at who could potentially be a villain, but it's not really. It's just kind of just there to just lead the story on, but it's not like a major villain. So don't go in expecting like something out of like see like what you would see for the classic era of Disney film. That's not what you're going for, right? Also, speaking of the classic era, I like how how against that Mirabelle was, right. I love how how charming she was, how warm, and just how just how likable she was too. And I mean, Stephanie just kills it though,
Right.
with voice acting and singing as well too. Actually, she sings a great deal. She delivers some great vocals in this as well too, right. I should mention too, my boy Lin Manuel Miranda is involved as
Right.
well too. He wrote the songs for this, and he had to
Right.
collaborate
Right.
with a few other people to do that, right? So just to talk about music, I thought it was pretty interesting here is that they incorporate a lot of Latin musical genres, right?
Right.
Um, but why I brought up the whole modernity part about it now is that they will incorporate a bit of trap music, right?
Okay.
In terms of like the drum patterns and the way how characters would sing, right? Even like there's a moment like Stephanie will kind of rap like kind of like that, right? There's even a bit of reggaeton, there's a bit of
Right. Right.
salsa and stuff like that. There. So that's what brings it. That's what makes it feel modern, right? But the way how the story is set now, you kind of thinking, well, yeah, this is not in the real. Sorry, this is not in modern times. This is probably like I don't know in the early 20th century or something like that. Especially the way how the story begins, right? But that's all
Yep.
I'll say, right? Um, I would say that the songs themselves are pretty solid, right? But there wasn't, and this is not a flaw, this is not a huge flaw for me, but this is just maybe because of, I guess, is the sound quality that I heard it because like I was hearing the music, I was hearing the vocals, but I felt like at times the music was kind of drawing out the vocals a little bit. I felt at times, but this is just me seeing it for the first time now, and then also too because well, Lin Manuel, right? They have
Yep.
to they do these sort of full not even full, not full, sorry. They do the Broadway thing where it's not just about the characters singing about how they feel and where they're from or whatnot. We're also telling you the story as it's going along, right? So it's like,
Yep.
it's the story is progressing while the song is going, right? So I know for some people they may not like that. It's like, all right, just sing the song. It's about how you're feeling. Why you have to tell them, oh my God, he is here, he is there. That like
Yeah. Yeah.
don't stop the song to tell me what's going
Yeah.
on around me.
Yeah.
So,
He had that
it's that.
problem with he had that problem with Indie Heights, I think,
Any
in my
heights, yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I imagine, I mean, people will still appreciate these songs. So, I mean, there are a few bops in this for sure. Because of its runtime, because it's roughly about hour and 40 minutes. It's not like jam packed with songs, so you probably might get like about 5 or 6 max, basically. But it's
Right.
still solid, very entertaining, visually very dynamic, right? Even though I would admit at times they just really go really far, though, you know what I mean? Because it's the Disney thing again. I feel like it's going back to that classic era, right? Where we're not just singing you a song, we're making it very theatrical, very grandiose. So you're gonna see a lot of imagery just all up in your face, you know what I mean? And I imagine for the animators behind this, they probably had a blast just creating these musical numbers, right? Also, last thing as far as the music goes, like I just feel like I just maybe if I just watch it over 'cause I know it's coming out on Disney Plus on Christmas Eve. If I just have the subtitles on, I could just kind of take note of what's being sung because they say a lot in the songs, but you can kind of get lost or overwhelmed with all the flashy visuals being thrown at you, right? Story wise, I mean, it's very well told. It doesn't really do anything that extraordinary or major, right?
Right.
I know for some people that might be a gripe. It wasn't for me really. It just kind of told its story. It's about family. Yes, it's about family. Yeah. But again, it wasn't like, some big villain comes and affects things and now we must vanquish the villain. It's not like that. It's not doing that anymore. It keeps things very internal. It's about defining family dynamic, the little inner struggles and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, basically how they rectify it, right? And it's just done in this really heartwarming, touching way that you would expect from a Disney animated film, right? So yeah. I thought that his supporting cast was great as well. John Leguizamo, I didn't even know he was going to be in this, but I thought that he was great as the Uncle Bruno. He actually has his own song. It's really hilarious.
Right.
Diane Guerrero, I thought that she was great as Isabella do. And just her musical number was great as well. And yeah, just the cast as a whole, they just did a great job there. As you brought up in the Heights, though, remember there was a big issue with, why you have all these light skinned Latino people in the show and not
Right.
dark skin, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in this
That was in
case,
the heights. Yeah.
in Encanto, we don't get that. We actually get, well,
Okay.
different shades, right? So to the
Okay.
point where you see characters who look almost African, actually, but they're Latino as well, right? They're in Colombia as well, right? I was like, nice, that's cool. We actually seeing like really dark skinned people in this. Nice, nice, nice. But yeah, now, I'm not, some expert when it comes to Colombian culture. So, maybe people could tell me, okay, yes, the set design, production design is legit, like how Colombian houses are, or costumes and all that kind of stuff. But I felt everything looked and felt authentic to me.
Right.
Um, yeah, and you could tell he really put effort into making this, Colombian, like it's Latin American, it's a celebration of Latin culture. They get that throat, right? And just smart casting in terms of Stephanie and Diane and other people, right? But yeah, though, again, Stephanie really holds the show on her shoulders by literally though, and just hearing her singing this is just like wow, like is there anything that she can do? Wow, right? And just thinking about it too, she probably was doing a majority of this stuff here while she was pregnant, yeah, because yeah, I
Okay.
mean, for
Right.
those who
Okay.
don't know, yeah, she actually has a daughter now, so we congrats to her, right? I believe it's a daughter, if I'm not mistaken, right? But yeah. Other than that, though, this was really enjoyable for me, man. I would say like if you're going expecting this thing to be like the next big Disney animated film that gonna be like a cultural watershed as far as pop culture thing goes. Nah, you're not gonna get that here. Like this is no Aladdin. This is no Lion King, right? No, it doesn't need to be. It's its own thing. It's telling its own story, and it entertains. It has some great music as well too, and yeah, I strongly recommend checking it out. If you don't want to see it on big screen, at least you can wait till it comes out on Disney Plus. You can watch it there. But I would recommend having some subs on, so at least you could sing along to the lyrics, right? So there's that. So yeah, rating wise, I'm gonna give this a decent 4 to 5, man. I thoroughly
Right.
enjoyed this too. I actually got my big screen animation fix this year. I'm really grateful of that. I
Right.
could see this showing up on my best of list for sure, man. But yeah, this is another win for Walt Disney, man. So yeah, can't wait to see what they do next, man.
Nice.
And last but not least, House of Gucci.
Mhm.
This is the second film from Ridley Scott to come out in 2021, boy. Because if you know one thing about Ridley, boy, he is a workaholic, boy. Like right now,
Yeah.
he's
Two movies.
83. He's 83 right now, and he is still putting
And he had
out
two
work.
two movies this year.
He has two movies this year, Jed. I
Yeah.
actually read up online like right after he finished work on The Last Duel, which we didn't see theatrically, but it's coming out on VOD next
Right.
week. Times we're going here. He just jumped into House of Gucci just so yeah, he is that guy. I always remember this with Gladiator, like right after he won for Gladiator for Best Picture and Best Film and all that kind of stuff. Man, just jump on a plane and went and do Black Hawk Down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how dread he is, right? But yeah, just before well, I want you to do synopsis for this, right? But I would say going into this, right? I saw the trailer for this. I was like, all right, like you saw the last Duel trailer. That was dope. For it was, people kind of was laughing at, oh, it's Adam Driver and Matt Damon and
Yeah.
Ben Affleck trying to talk British, even though it's a French film. But sorry, it's set in France, but whatever. But it's really Scott, right? And I mean, even though he have a few misses, like like you would say Prometheus, I would say Alien Covenant. You know what I mean?
Right.
The man have a lot of hits on his belt.
Yeah. Of
Whether it's
course.
Blade Runner 20,
Right.
Thelma and Louise, Alien, stuff like that, right?
They just ignore all the bullshit involved, all the MCU stuff. I don't care about
I,
I don't
I
care.
was gonna bring it up though, but
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
care about
no.
that discourse.
Yeah, but what I will make a mental note of, and I'll bring this up, I'll make a note to bring this up in the last dual review, is his criticism that, oh, the reason why that movie bombed is because, millennials didn't understand it or didn't care for it or something along that line. Just
Yeah, dumb.
paraphrasing here, right? I know Ridley's a man who knows his audience, right? People are gonna go into this as fans of Ridley Scott. They kind of know what to expect from him, right? I'm not expecting some youngster to go into this and just expect to be blown away. Like, no, I was expecting the show to play out in the way it does somewhat, right? But yeah, I saw the trailer for this too. I actually took note of the purposeful casting of Oscar winners and nominees. So you have Lady Gaga, you have Adam Driver, you
Right.
have Jared Leto, Salma Hayek, Al Pacino, Jeremy
Yeah,
Irons, like just purposefully, like, okay, we had to get an Oscar nom out of this. And
something.
I'll
Yeah.
talk about Oscar noms in a bit, because there's one obvious Oscar nom this show could get. Obvious. It's in the title, for God's sake, right? But anyway, Ricardo, House of Gucci, what is it about?
Right. So is the story of Patricia Reggiani, um, famous, story. She's called Italy's Black Widow. If you know the story, it's like, all right, you're telling this story, biographical. We're doing that, great. And yeah, she basically on the come up. She was like when she was young, she was working for her dad, I think, in what was a trucking
Yeah,
company.
it was a trucking company. She was, yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. So she met Maurizio Gucci. This is when he was really in his early days. He was still a law student, and basically he could own up to 50% interest in Gucci, the Gucci fashion house, right? From since
Right,
when his dad
which
did
is
it.
owned by his
His dad.
uncle technically.
Right. Right.
Yeah, played by Al Pacino. The
Right.
father himself, played by Jeremy Irons, kind of doesn't want anything to do with it. And I
Right.
just wish that the show could have explored that a little bit more. But whatever, go on.
Yeah. And yeah. Basically they just get into this narrative of, well, the father, he not really, of this low quality stock woman. He don't want Maurizio to get with her, and he say like, you get this inherited. He did not cut him off if he get with she, and he still did it anyway. And then drama, so they just play out through her life, how much, and all the stuff involving him, and then eventually, well, if you know the real world story, what happens ultimately, some real dark shit. There's a reason why she was called the Black Widow, right? And yeah, you know, I don't know what to say, but never go full David or Russell, because this was
I know you are not a fan of his films, especially
well,
American Hustle, right? The show
right,
that
but
everybody was praising.
it's
Yep.
only really American Hustle, because I kind of hated American Hustle, and I thought this was kind of American Hustle all over again.
Oh
Um,
wow, okay.
I didn't really care for this. I thought this was kind of bad, and the number one reason, all these accents. What the hell is this? Why it is that they trying to do
I'll
the
talk
Italian
about
accent?
accents in a bit.
Nobody could do the Italian accent well. Jeremy Irons didn't try. The only person who kind of was trying to do a little something was Adam Driver. Yeah, Adam Driver. Uh,
Yeah.
Even that was still kind of
Gaga
right. Gaga
was
tried a thing.
trying.
Yeah,
She's
she
trying.
tried a thing
She's trying.
too. The only thing with Gaga. All right. So here's the thing. Another Right. So also, I absolutely hated Jared Leto in this. Um. He was totally
Oh boy.
he was totally pointless. Here's the thing. When you actually okay. So I when after I see the movie, I just decided to let's go through the news story of it now. Just to see
All
the
right,
thing.
I should have done that though. I really should have, but I
He,
didn't.
I don't know why they make the real person so clownish though. Like they do the man real dirty though. He like they could just get an older actor. Why didn't they just get an older actor? Like I don't know. Why they get this? Like the only reason that you feel they do this is just to say to get the makeup people a work. Like they need the makeup people to get an award now. That's how it feel. Like Jared Leto was pointless in this, like absolutely pointless because he wasn't good, and then the makeup was distracting, but it was still good. Like it was good on people. Like, oh, this is impressive technically, but it was still obviously makeup. Like it was like at no point I was totally out it every time he came on the screen. Pacino's okay. Salma Hayek, what they do with her, I thought was pretty good. Like when everything wraps up, I was like, oh yeah, right, that she was part of the bullshit too. Um, and look, it's Gaga's movie. I think she holds it for the most part, but I could not like it was just so over the top. Like, okay, I praised True Story earlier for having been soap operation too over the top and being like a telenovela kind of thing. That worked in that favor of that show. In the favor of this, it didn't work at all. Like it was just everybody just behaving ridiculous, and it just felt like a bunch of Italian stereotypes. Like that's what it felt like. Like if you could be racist against Italians, that is what it is. Like it was just a little silly. Like I couldn't take a look at it seriously, right? But production wise, it was all right. I didn't have any problems with it. I don't know. Ridley Scott could have do better because like he did another rich people in the 20th century thing just when 2 3 years ago. With oh gosh, this rich fellow who did shit, it's slipping my mind right now. That they bust Kevin Spacey throat over.
Or
Uh,
what is All the Money in the World?
Only
Is
Man
it?
in the World, right? Yeah, he
Still
did that.
haven't seen that show. No, still haven't.
So yeah. So I was like, yeah, you could do rich people in the 20th century drama. Good. Like I enjoyed All the Money in the World. I thought it was pretty good, but this was I don't know. This didn't work at all, Jared. Like I kind of hated it. It just didn't gel together. It's an interesting enough story. And look, I know it how the Gaga fans out there, but like Gaga was just fine. She was okay. But at no point I was like, wait, but she real blow me or anything like that. It's only the last sequence when she was old in the ending and she wanted to keep the name and right when she didn't make she jail now. That was it. Like
Mm.
but before when she was younger and things like it didn't have no moments that had me like, wait, boy, Gaga real good or nothing like that. It's like it's fine. Yeah, like she'll get nominated probably, but I was still underwhelmed with it. I mean, okay, so let me put it like this: I enjoyed her about as much as I enjoyed Will Smith in thing in King Richard. Is that
Ouch.
is that right? It's not. It's it good. It's fine. That's about it. They had a bunch of other like little like again. Is if you're into the fashion world and you're familiar with that stuff, I suppose you might like it. So like who they get for Sophie Loren, it's like oh, okay, that was good. And then who they get for Tom Ford, it's like oh, okay, all right, okay, fine. But that's about it. I couldn't get into the idea of it. The main problem is that because a big conceit of the storyline, like a big part of the conceit of the storyline, is about Jared Leto's character, Paulo. I thought he just totally take me out of it, and it became comical every time he was on screen. He was terrible, right? It's just I don't know why they had him play it like that. Why is he so over the top and ridiculous in this? It don't work. Like when you actually check the real person and who they reference, and it's like, yeah, but the man looks like normal though. Like what was all of this? Whatever. Yeah, that's just me on that. I kind of hated it, but it's reasonably well made for a couple things. That's about it.
All right. Well, you might laugh at this, right? But I actually did not hate it as much as you did. Actually, I was actually
Wow.
surprised to hear you say that you hated it, right?
Yeah.
It was okay for what it was, but it could have been so much. It could have so much more now. And this is coming from somebody who, to confess, didn't know about the story, right?
Right.
Because I didn't do I didn't know about this prior to it. Though, you know what I mean? I just kind of just look at it like, oh, Gucci's a brand, okay, whatever, whatever, whatever. But
Yeah.
I didn't know the full backstory of it, right? And I was
Right.
trusting
Right.
this film to at least show me
No,
what
yeah,
happened, right?
you have a ton of those in the 20th century. Rich people in the 20th century backbiting each other. Like you have, I mean, if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
used
yeah.
to watch, if you ever used to watch Dallas or anything like that, lifestyles of the rich and famous, right? It's
I,
that,
I remember these shows. I never used to watch it, but I know these shows, yeah.
but it's that it is that it had all kind of wealthy rich people, during especially during the 70s and 80s, and especially when Ronald Reagan come through and that whole neoliberal paradigm started spread across the world, a set of rich people, and it had a lot of drama, and it was basically like modern royalty, right? And so you could do a lot with all of those families and all of those dynasties and all those people who had money from a long time and so on and so forth. My problem is that they could have do with this now. It just felt so silly though. Like I couldn't take a look at it seriously now. I don't know if it's like the discourse of it or the nature of the story and what he was trying to go for, but none of it worked for me. Like too little of it worked, I should say. I just could not get into it. But the thing is, all the money in the world worked. Like that was solid. So I don't know what happened with this one. And I think the simple answer is them damn accents. You shouldn't have like try to lean into the Italian accent thing. Because it was
Mm.
like everybody just kind of fucking around or something. Like, what going on here? Like I
Yeah,
could
I'll talk
yeah.
about the accents in a bit, right? But yeah, for me with the story though, while it was intriguing enough, and I was roped in, right? I was taking in everything now that was going on. I knew this was gonna be a slow burn. So I had a big bag of popcorn and large drinks. So I was engaged by it, right? But for me, I just kind of came out of it like. all right, that's the story though. Like
Yeah,
I felt like given how it ends now, there should have been so much more to it, and it just kind of came off a little too much like you know, not so much the internal aspect of it, because yeah, it is internal. It's about family and all kind of stuff, right? But like I expected at least that I would have been like, you see the beauty about biopics like say Goodfellas, right? Even when they're showing people who are scummy, right, who are bastards, who are sons of
right,
bitches or whatnot, right? Yeah, they do take you into this world of theirs, and then you feel like, wow, you know what I mean? Like if I'm a son of a bitch, I could be like them too. You know what I mean? If I sell my soul, I could be like them, right?
right.
But I felt like the show itself didn't even do that all that much. It's like, all right,
Yeah,
they will go to this place and they will have they'll be wearing these outfits and all that kind of stuff. But at no point in time did I feel like, wow, like this is what it really means to be like I should come out of it feel like, oh, this is how it is to be rich though. Like, wow, like this is
no,
how
but
it
it's
is.
not. It's not.
But they
It's
don't
not.
really touch on that so much.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not really. It have very little crime per se in this involved in it. That's the whole thing.
yeah, well, no, I don't mean
It's only
crime.
until the
I just
end it's only until the end they address the whole thing. But like it's really
right,
Patricia's story
yeah.
and her relationship. Like that's all. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
So like I didn't.
it's not crime. It's not crime, and I'm not asking for a casino or a Goodfellas. No,
Right.
no, no, no. But
Okay.
I just talking about you want to look the title House of Gucci. You want to put us into the world of the people who were behind one of the most influential brands in like human
Yeah.
history, right? We're supposed to feel outside of. I think the best way to describe it is like this, right? It's like Gucci in itself, like the word itself, unfortunately kind of comes down to the outfits themselves and not so much
Right.
about the people, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
more about the outfits themselves, and the outfits stole the show than the people
Right. Right.
themselves, right? And what I mean is like the people themselves, like yes, they are shallow. You know, you're not really supposed to like them. I mean, you kind of get where they're coming from because they born from wealth, but the way how they kind of treat each other, especially behind the scenes, just like real scummy and whatnot. And I get that's the point of the show, but at the same time, I was just like kind of just watching them do the things. And I didn't really like latch on to anyone. I really care about them. Like I wanted to care about like Gaga's character, like Patricia. I wanted to care about Mauricio, but there's more came off like, okay, here's this guy that we could fuck over, and here's this guy that we could fuck over, and that will be like it starts off with Al Pacino's character who plays Aldo. Like, they screw him over, and
Right.
then Jared Leto, right? Let me screw him over, and then afterwards, like, well, we have nobody else to screw over now, so let me just go at each other now. Now we hate each other. No, divorce and cheating and
Right.
all that stuff. There. So yeah, just kind of watching them just kind of do things, and yeah, it does feel like lifestyles of the rich and famous, but I didn't connect with any of them. So you're just kind of watching rich people just do rich people shit basically. They don't really care. That's the problem, right? Speaking of the outfits themselves, yeah, this is where the show gonna get Oscar nom for sure. Like yeah,
Right.
costume design. I mean, it's obvious. Like this had to get a nomination for this too. Yeah, costume design was on point. I know expert when it comes to costume design though, but I could tell that yeah, the outfits these actors had, yeah, I mean they really went out of the way to make these actors look good. In on screen, especially Lady Gaga though. Like, oh my gosh,
Right.
she looked
Yeah.
real good. Like, I wouldn't lie. Like, I'm not biggest Lady Gaga fan. I was watching that show. I was like, yeah, damn, she
Yeah.
fine though. Like,
Yeah.
damn, you know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
she,
Like
she
she
fine though. Like,
attract
real
points,
fine.
like it's it did. But
Yeah.
again, it was feeling like it's still feeling like a SNL sketch. Like
Right,
sorry.
right. This is why I gotta get to the
Yeah.
accents, right? Now, all right. I understand the decision. Okay, they are Italian people. And they're speaking in English, yeah. But we can't have them speak pure English, of course. Like we can't do the last dual thing with French characters
No.
talking like Englishmen. But
All
they
right. Which
give
I
them
don't have a
these
problem with,
right.
Which I don't have a
Yeah, I
problem.
mean, I
Like
mean, it's
we
the
just
nature
do that all
of
the time.
these. Yeah, it's the nature of these films anyway, right?
Right.
But accents, though, I felt like everybody just had in their heads, oh, this is how people sound like. This is how an Italian woman sounds like.
But
Oh, this is how
but
an
if you
elderly Italian man sounds like. So everybody is just doing their own individual take of how they think Italians talk. You
that's
know
how
what
it
I mean?
felt. I don't know. I like somebody could tell me, like somebody could correct me and say no, it's actually accurate or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
it totally felt like you remember Fred Armisen in Eurotrip. Like I was just thinking at that time,
Yeah.
like is it just Miss Scusi, like
Yeah, me
that.
scusi. Yeah.
Like what the fuck is this? Like
Yeah.
and listen, even somebody who I thought like was looking the part, it wasn't half bad in terms of looking the part. Adam Driver, like he's the person I was taking him most seriously in all of this. And even here, I was like, yeah, what the fuck is this, though? Like, this isn't working at all, though. Like, uh,
Yeah. It's just all over the place. And I mean, like we can't say, oh, well, this is fake and this is not how Italians don't sound like that. Whatever. Like we're not gonna do it, right? But it
right.
does sound a little on the comedic side, like almost like an
Yeah.
imitation, like a cheap imitation, right? Going into this, right? I was here to talk about Lady Gaga's accent sounds like Count Von Countner. Like people were
You know?
laughing at she accent in particular. I
Yeah.
was here. This is like, yeah, I could see where the jokes come from, but like
Yeah.
it's not the worst for me. It's not the worst
No, no.
thing.
Like, here's the
It's not
problem.
like, oh, one sec, right? She is not like the one that people should be laughing at as far as accents go by.
Exactly.
What who people should be laughing at though, and performance wise way, is Jared Leto.
No,
Like
no.
he was
Okay.
just he was a buffoon,
No,
boy.
Jared
But
Leto was one bad thing, but I find people who should be above this like didn't even try. Like Jeremy Irons didn't even fucking care, Judd. Like he didn't try. I was like,
you will still hear the British in his voice though.
yeah,
You were
exactly.
hearing it.
He
You're
not
hearing it.
even trying. But he attitude is like, look, I too old for this shit. Me, I ought to prove myself. Fuck off. Yeah,
Yeah, and
you
I mean, Al is just Al at this point in
right,
time.
right,
Al
exactly,
is
same
just
thing,
doing the loudmouth Al Pacino, right? With
exactly,
a little bit of with some Italian inflections on it, but he's still the loudmouth Al, right? He even
right. But
does
Lady
a
Gaga, right,
breakdown. I was waiting for it. Like, yes, we get the Al Pacino breakdown. Yes,
right. But for people who are
meltdown.
like,
Sorry, meltdown.
yeah, but for people who are still prove themselves like Adam Driver and Lady Gaga, who still have a career ahead of them, like them still had to make the effort now. So like I watching it and I was like, she again, if she had a better coach, a voice coach or something like that, I would have been fine. I would have been fine. But
Yeah.
she didn't like it. Just they half-assed it with respect to that, and that's the whole film because you had to listen to a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue you have to
Yes, there's
listen
a
to,
lot of dialogue.
and that's the problem. So it's like it's not
And
to
it's a
say that
slow burn too, so you
it's a
have no
slow burn.
choice but to
Thank
hear it.
you,
Yeah.
thank you. The whole thing just taken. And well, Leto was just ridiculous. Like he was just a complete farce. Like I don't know why they play it
Yeah.
like that. I don't know
It's,
why
it's,
that
it's
was.
almost like he was playing too much Mario Brothers, and literally like that's
You
the
know?
way how he looks is almost like, oh, you trying to be like like a live action Mario, like
Yeah, yeah,
Mario Brothers the
yeah.
even right, like, and like, I'm not knocking the actor, because they do give him some very great lines, like especially when shit hits the fan for him, and then he
Right.
realizes how scummy Patrizia and Maurizio are. Like there's a moment where he comes on the car and he's like just
No, right, right. So when he
like
had his right,
melted
yeah,
down,
yeah.
and like
When he
that's
had his fashion show and they kind of fucked him up.
yeah.
That,
But like
I thought that was
but like
okay.
even the way how he talks there is still
It's
like
still rubbish, still terrible.
was still rough though. Like
Yeah.
I understand. This is your character. Like the real play it off like, oh, he's like the black sheep of the family, and this is
Right.
why nobody cares about you. Nobody cares about your designs. And Jeremy says some kind of thing to him, something along the lines of, use this with this, and like real fuck up with it. I'm like, wait, really? Well, okay. I am no fashion nude, so I don't know what you talk about, but wow, like all the real heat on him now. But I felt like he was just there to be the buffoon. Like, oh, let's laugh at him because he just looks funny and he's balding. And I
Yeah.
mean,
But
props for
the
the
real dude,
makeup
not like that
effects and
at
all that
all.
kind of stuff.
To
Props
me,
for that, but still is like, well, and as you just said there, he's not like that. So
yeah.
why make him like that?
Why like,
I don't.
it's a utterly baffling choice. Like for me at
Yeah,
least, I don't know what was the decision making like to change because when you're like okay, so I just do some like when I watch the film, I do some digging just to see what these real people were like. Just to make a working comparison. And he's not even close to the man. And if they had played that straight, that would have been a good source of drama. It's like, okay, right, you could see the family battling with each other, who owned the name of the company, who could sue who for what, and what, anytime money jumping up, you can't go wrong with that. That's instant source of drama. Again, rich people in the 20th century, right? Um,
yeah. But I really felt like with Jared though, it was almost like they told him go method, like method acting,
yeah,
and he was like,
weird.
well, all right, okay, I could do method, I could do that, but like he didn't need to when you really think about it. Though you'd be
Exactly.
given who the real person is, right?
Yeah,
Um, but
weird.
yeah, I mean, I mean the story was what it was though, but it just didn't rope me in. I didn't feel like I just felt like should have come out of it like, wow, this was such an amazing and intriguing story. I just watch this, it's like, yeah, just rich people shit. Just really,
Right.
what I mean. One thing that people probably would not gonna bring up in their reviews though, but this is something that I couldn't help but notice. music choices, way. I
Right.
know it's a biopic. I know you could pick whatever music you want to just give it. It's just in the context of what the show is about, right? So, slight spoiler, right? There's a moment where Patricia and Maurizio get married, right?
Right.
It's
Right. Right.
established that this is in the late 70s, right? And yet I'm
Well, she
hearing
was right.
feet
She, I
from
forget. I forget how long it is between the meetings, but yeah, it was she because it is 1979
yes,
or something.
1978 when the story begins, right? But
Right.
the way how their relationship starts off though, like the show wastes no time in showing you, yeah, they love like even to the point that you have this sex scene that goes on
Right.
for a while. I was just like,
Which, but
wow,
I
okay,
think
wow,
I thought that was alright. That
wow.
was so bad. Yeah, that was fine.
Yeah, and then right after that they go to the wedding, and then they play Fate from George Michael and Whamner. But
Right.
like, and that should come on like in the mid 80s though. So why are we playing this though? Like we playing
Yeah.
this
Okay.
throughout the wedding scene. They're like, but we even hit the states yet. Why are we playing this? We even hit the 80s yet. What going on there?
Yeah. What?
And that's
Yeah.
one other musical point I want to make. Right, there's a blink and you miss it moment. Right, with a fashion show that takes place in the 80s. Right, there's a song that they play. I might as well spoil it. Right, they play Paid in Full, the Cool Cut remix from Eric B. and Rakim, right?
Right.
One of the best hip hop crossover songs ever, in my opinion, right? That shit come out in the late 80s, bro. So why we playing
Yeah.
this in the early to mid 80s? Because it's a fashion show and because it's a runway song. Again, it's a runway song. Yeah, yeah. If you
Right.
listen to the beat, it has a very runway vibe to it, right? If it was in the late 80s, I'd understand that, but no, in the early to mid 80s, why are we playing this song? It just felt real half-assed, like, oh, well, this is a song that would play, so let's play this. But, like, think about the era, bro, you know what I mean? In the third act, at least, they kind of got it down right because it was in the 90s now, so they played, like, a little bit of 90s music. And also, as we talk about eras now, um, like from the 80s to 90s, I didn't even know that years passed, you know. It
Right.
legit felt like I was watching the 80s, and then suddenly they tell me, oh, we in 94 or
Right. Yeah.
94, 95. Like,
Yeah.
wait,
That
wait,
was
really?
confusing because that was kind of
It's just
confusing to
out of
me
the
as well.
blue.
Yeah.
I don't know if you pick up on
Yeah. It
that
was
at
kind of
all.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird
That's
time skip
confusing.
sway, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a bit of awkward editing here or there, like some
Right.
scenes would just kind of end abruptly. Like there's a moment where Maurizio is talking to his dad, and it literally ends with him saying, "I'm gonna be with her," and then it just cut to him being kicked out and going by
Well.
Patrice's parents. Like
Yeah.
like I get what they
Right.
for, but it just felt like a weird cut. Like for me, just a few weird cuts here or there that just kind of was just like, well, it felt literally like they just trimmed the film down, like they just took out a few scenes, just to make the runtime a little shorter. But
Right.
speaking of a runtime, at 157 minutes, this felt way too long, but you could have trimmed off like 10, 15 minutes out of this.
Yeah.
You could have gotten to the point of the story a lot sooner, Jed. I felt like it was just padding, and this is why I don't like this relative, and why you're cheating on me, and all this stuff. It just dragged unnecessarily, in my opinion. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, yeah. No, as I say, that aspect of it is like I didn't mind like some of the decisions in terms of like the editing and the cuts. So I get what it was going for in terms of tone. And again, all that would have been perfectly fine if it wasn't juxtaposed with this weird like other choices. No, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that stuff stood out more as kind of weird now. But whatever, no bother with
Right,
me.
and that's a couple things before we wrap up, right? But I think the main problem with this though is the tone, the inconsistency in the tone, right?
Yeah,
Because some people will go into this thing expecting this to be like real campy, and they're like, oh, you want to see, like real schlocky stuff, like, oh, you really want to see how the rich and famous lives, and now we're gonna get to the seediness of all that kind of stuff, right?
yeah,
So you have characters like quarreling, and you're laughing at it because, oh my god, it's so audacious, right? But you blend it in with, oh no, this is a historical event and these are milestones that take place. Like case in point, there's actually a moment I really like though where you see the bootleg Gucci. Like I thought that was a real great moment actually. I didn't
right,
expect that though, but that was a real smart call now. So you want to tell this legit story and pay respect to the people who lived it actually, right? And what they did for better or for worse, right? But at the same time, you kind of want to go a little schlocky because, well, it's the rich people and this is how they really think or whatever it is, and all these backstabbing and all that kind of stuff. So it could never kind of balance now. But it's even worse now with the accents, unfortunately, right?
that's the fucking
Yeah,
problem.
that's the
Shit.
problem. So you're not really sure how serious you should take this, right?
Yep.
That's the problem. Yeah, but I, for one, I didn't hate the show. I it was what it was though, but again, I just kind of came out of it again as somebody who don't know the story. Just like, all
Right.
right, well that was it. Okay,
I know.
all right,
It was
all
kind of
right.
frustrating. Yeah, it was kind of frustrating for me, to be honest. I was just like, yeah, it have a lot of good here, but you know, when you mix good with bad, that just make the bad even worse.
Agreed.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's how
But
it's feel like. You know,
I
it's
just
kind of
felt
like
like I should have cared more. I
a
just
working
that's
example. A working example is like Batman v Superman. Like what made Batman v Superman so frustrating was that it had all this good in it as well.
yeah, but it
It's
was
like
it
that.
was buried in all this bad,
Right.
a lot of bad. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
it's squandered. Yeah. Whatever.
Right. So for me, rating wise, I'll give this a very very light 3 out of 5. It's I for what it was. I didn't feel like I wasted my money though. Although to be honest, be compared to Last Duel, I would have preferred to watch House of Gucci on VOD and Last
Right.
Duel in theaters, right?
Right.
Now this had me kind of wondering about the quality of Last Duel, because of
Right.
how because of it being a flop now. And I don't think it had to do with millennials. I think it's the
No. No.
quality,
No.
right?
No.
But
Yeah.
I not this
No.
is not
It's
us knocking Ridley Scott. I mean, the man's still making films, and I should mention too. I mean, points for the cinematography. I thought that the cinematography for this was just gorgeous in my opinion. Just a lot of great shots in this, and just really solid direction throughout. It's just the acting and the accents and the tone and just the pace of the story though just needed a lot of punching up though. And we could have had a much more interesting film though, you know what I mean? And
yeah. It's a
last thing
shame.
that's just speaking of millennials though, I imagine millennials will be bored out of their skulls watching this though, but because I
Listen,
went in
but
kind of knowing what to expect.
we saying millennials as if it's young people. Millennials is almost 40. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, I know, yeah.
let's say
But
gents, right?
yeah. But
At
yeah,
best.
I know people. Some people watch this and just be bored out of their minds, though, and that's the problem. Like with all this stuff with Gucci and the name and the name and the name and the name, you really should have given us more, man. I mean, just right off the title alone, like the title itself, I should be excited. Right? This came out of it like, huh, okay, well, that's it. Like it just felt more of a
Yeah.
knockoff. Sorry to say this, more like
Yeah.
a knockoff of Gucci than the real thing. Dread. Like I know it's a cliche thing to say, but
Yeah.
sorry, that's just how the film feels ultimately, man. But yeah, final thoughts and rating.
Yeah. Again, I was just so disappointed with this. For what it is, I really thought we would have gotten something more interesting, and you know, something to make it work, and just better craftsmanship. I think it's just that one thing that pulled it down with the whole accents thing, and that was just like one thing. Because it's so hard to ignore now, and it was so pointless. But yeah, moving on. As I say, you know, I don't know, 6 out of 10. I want to say.
All
Could have
right.
been better. I wish it was better, but uh,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
yeah,
it's more the letdown than the objective quality of it. Like you know, that's how I
that's
feel
true.
about it. So whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said before, this thing could get nominated for costume design alone. I
Right.
thought the costume design was on point. Jared Leto, way. I could see his performance getting a Razzie nomination for sure. Boy.
Yeah. What the fuck is that?
This is Razzie level.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
Wow, well, like people are gonna look back at this year and be like, yeah, this year gave us Jared Leto playing Mario, right? Playing a Mario brother, literally, right? But
Basically, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you
so
more like where's the character from Mario, the original actor in the TV show,
oh yeah,
Lual Bego?
oh
Not
yeah,
not, not the
yeah, right.
movie, the
The
TV
TV
show.
show,
Yeah,
the super show, yeah, yeah.
that used to play on AVM. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
remember the
version.
show. I remember the show. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Super Mario Brothers super show.
yeah.
Yeah, it
I like
is
this.
literally the yeah. Why you have to
Like
talk like this?
yeah, feeling like that.
It's like that.
Rubbish.
It's like that. Just
Absolute rubbish. Hate it.
from a well established actor, right? But win some, lose some, right? So yeah, let's see
Yeah, but
how.
I find for a hot minute he's been shitting the better. Like since that Joker, boy. Like jeez, but
Yes,
then
is that
he do,
no?
but he do
Well, no. Remember he won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club.
right,
Remember
right. He was, and
his
I thought he was
rule,
really good in that.
but you win an Oscar. The
Yeah,
shitty
boy.
rules after that, right?
Boy, it is,
It's the
boy. Yeah,
Nicolas
boy.
Cage thing.
God,
Is the Cuba Gooding Jr. thing? Remember, it's that, right? But
yeah, for real.
yeah. So
I
if
forgot
you're
about Cuba Gooding
curious,
Jr. So.
poor Cuba Gooding Jr. Right? Such a fall for grace, eh? But yeah, I mean, if you're curious, check it out though. But I am expecting at this moment that at least Last Duel will be better, boy. But if it turns out to be just as disappointing or even worse than this, boy, well, I know, boy, I know.